I'm here in the Unipark Logistics box with Jamie Miller to talk about Saturday's game. But before I do that, I'd like to pass on the best wishes of the club, the players and the supporters to Lee Ordis and Lee Ordis' family. Lee was involved in a car accident in the early hours of Sunday morning and is at present in an induced coma in Leeds General Hospital. Lee, our best wishes go out to you and we hope you make a speedy recovery. Jamie, you've been injured for a while now. How's the injury going?
Well, still injured, but no, it's I've had this surgery now, so it's on the mend. I've started sort of basic rehab. I'm looking at sort of 4 weeks before I can start running, and I'm hoping to be back playing by the first 1 or 2 games of the new year.
You come up at the weekend, watch the games. This weekend, particularly good game. What were your feelings about the game at the weekend?
Well, you're right. It was a great game. I think it was encouraging actually to see, opponents like Ealing, who were obviously very talented, top of the table for a reason. They started the game very well, scored 2 early tries, and that's quite difficult to concede 2 early tries like that and to stay psychologically in a game as well as physically. So I think that we showed enormous staying power to stay in that game, to put up the physical fight that we did up front, which allowed us to physically dominate them, which eventually won us that game. So despite the fact that Ealing probably showed some of the better running rugby, certainly in the first half, that we showed great ability to close them down, stay in the game until half time, come out in the second half, dominate, play our style of rugby, our brand of rugby, and ultimately win that game, which takes a lot of willpower and a lot of discipline, and it was really good to see us play for 80 minutes and not just to sort of take 2 tries early on and bow our heads.
There was a lot said about the Ealing back three. How did you feel our backs coped with them at the weekend?
To be honest, initially, first 10 minutes, not very well. We had talked a lot about their back three, and we gave them an awful lot of respect, too much respect probably, first 10 minutes, which is why we conceded 2 soft tries. I haven't seen the footage back, but from watching it the weekend, we certainly gave them a lot of space to run in.
Yeah.
And when you've got as much pace as some of their back three do, you can't afford to do that. But I think we learnt our lesson pretty early on, and from that point onwards, I thought we did a pretty good job at containing them. They had a few half breaks and had a few opportunities, but we scrambled well, and I thought we shut down the space when it was there. And overall, over 80 minutes, did a good job of that.
1 or 2 of the Ealing supporters criticised Coventry for playing through their forwards, saying, "Is that all we've got?" But Ealing are well known for playing through the backs, which is their strength. How did you think our forwards did?
Well, we targeted their forward pack as an area of weakness, and we consider our forward pack an area of strength. We also consider our back line an area of strength as well.
Yes, yeah.
But considering that we had done our analysis and decided that they had a good back line, we had a good back line, their pack wasn't as good as our pack, it seemed obvious to target them. And fair play to the 8 forwards and the 2 subs who played in that game, because that's exactly what we did. We dominated them up front, and it made it possible for their back line to play. And I think it's foolish to criticise a winning strategy that we performed, almost perfectly.
As you said, we conceded 2 early tries, but didn't seem to panic at that point. Now, we're a very young side, and I felt Saturday we actually showed a bit of maturity above our age.
Yeah, absolutely. We have got a young average age, but maturity isn't defined by age. It's and I think that we proved that at the weekend. As you said, we are a very close-knit squad. We know what we can do. We know that if we stay within touch, if we're in touch at half-time, we back ourselves to win that game. Every time. Sometimes it's not done our way, and at the same time, we do appreciate that. But we know that if we are within, a couple of scores, we're dangerous, and that's that attitude that we've built, that we don't lie down very rarely, and that's what keeps us through, and that's why we hopefully we won that close game at the weekend, and hopefully we'll win a few more close ones, hopefully not that close in the future.
Saturday we go to Jersey. A couple of ex-Coventry boys there, Di Maddox and Sixth Note George Dixon. Will you be going to see the boys?
I was going to go. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it now, unfortunately, because that's going to be a good one as well. As you say, a lot of ex-Coventry. It's a Coventry graveyard, Jersey graveyard, yeah. But no, it's going to be a good game. And obviously, I was just chatting to Ferch. We've lost a few of our pack through injury and recalls from Northampton and such. So we are going to have a weakened pack. But having said that, we've got a lot of strength and depth in our forwards, so I'm confident that players that are coming in are going to step up. And it's going to be really interesting. It's one I'd love to see. Unfortunately, Sick Note George Dixon won't be playing. Sick again. So, yeah, it's shocking. No surprise, though. Really.
No surprise.
Yeah, so he won't be playing. Probably will be picked anyway. But, yeah, I think Dyer will be playing. I expect him to be playing. In fact, I think it's his first game back, so that'll be good. Donovan Sanders.
Donny. Yeah.
Heno's just left, actually, isn't he? Left this season, so
he's at Coventry Park now.
He's also just had a kid as well, so congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Heno and Shelley. And so no, it would be good, actually. It would have been nice to see a few old faces, but I think I'm going to have to wait until the return leg.
As we've just said, with Donny and George, and so what apart from that, our own boys that have left Coventry, what do you know about Jersey and what sort of game do you think it's going to be on Saturday?
Well, Jersey, I think they've changed quite a lot recently. I mean, initially when everybody first heard of Jersey and everyone started going over there, it was for the money, and I think a lot of that sort of dried up. There's obviously still a huge amount of money there, but it's not anything like the pop-style wages we heard about when they first sort of came into the limelight. So they've bought some players who are good, and they've grown some homegrown talent. That's good. But I don't think they're the force that people think they are. I don't think they're the Jersey of old who dominated, National 3 or whatever they call it, and National 2 rugby. So I think it's going to be interesting. They've had a few tough results this year. They're doing okay, but
still managed to be up there at the top at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're still within reach. But we proved this weekend it doesn't matter if you're at the top of the table. We've got the ability to beat anybody in this league. So. It's a long way to go, and obviously we're travelling up. Well, the squad are travelling on the day, so it's going to be a tough game.
Yes.
And there's certainly not going to be a pushover. They're going to be a tough opposition on their home soil, so it'll be a good game. But nothing I think that if we show up with the right mentality that we can't deal with.
Earlier I asked you about your injury. You said you just had it operated on. Is there a date that we expect to see Jamie Miller back out on the pitch?
Well, I've looked at the schedule of games, and it depends how the last couple of weeks go, because I'm off running until just before Christmas.
Yeah.
And then it just depends on how quickly I suppose I can get back into running without falling over or looking like an idiot. So I'm obviously going to get my devastating step back, which could take some time. But
I think it might take you a bit more time to stop looking like an idiot.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I think it'll come back naturally. But I'm hoping no more than a couple of weeks after I start running, just to sort of blow out the cobwebs, try and get some sort of fitness back in. And so hopefully from a physical standpoint, I'll be fit. Hopefully first or second week of January, or first or second fixture in January.
Yeah.
However, selection-wise, is a different story, because obviously we've got a pack performing, playing very well. And the back row in particular is a very good back row. Obviously we've lost Nashi for a couple of weeks, which might open up a little opening for me. You never know. Mind you, he might be back for me.
He's been playing awesome up to now, hasn't he?
Absolutely
really?
Outstanding. Yeah, absolutely outstanding. So and the rest of the back row as well. Dainsy and Tibbs has been doing a great job as well at 8. So it's by no means a no-brainer that I'm going to fall back into the back row.
Tibbs has really grown into the 8 position as the season's gone by.
Absolutely.
He started off with something to prove, and I think he's gone on from that, don't you think?
I think he's done really well. From the first game when he stepped in, I thought he was outstanding. Bearing in mind that he before that hadn't played a lot of rugby this season, he'd been injured himself, I think.
Yeah.
So no, I think he's doing an outstanding job. He's great carrying off the base, gets us going forward, and makes his carries in the loose as well. So great work rate, good player. Same as the rest of the back row. Daisy's doing a great job at 6.
Yeah.
And as we said earlier, Nashi's obviously he's Nashi, does what he does it every week.
Standstill, basically,
absolutely, runs
game.
himself into the ground.
Yeah.
So the whole pack are outstanding, but in particular, without being biased, the back row are also outstanding. Probably the creme de la creme of this pack.
I'm not going to see you at the weekend. I'm not going to be in Jersey myself, but I hope to see you the following week for the Wharfdale game and a speedy recovery.
Absolutely, thank you very much.
Okay, cheers, mate.